Hi. Um, I'm extremely warm today, dude. I'll not restart this. No chance. This is complete me and how I work. I really wanted to do the diary today. I was looking forward to it. Because I need to do some self-reflecting and I need to hold myself accountable for some stuff. First of all, let's get the stuff out of the way. I'm plus point 6 pounds, point 6 kilos today. We'll get to that in a second. I have not failed at anything, at least not by my metric. I'll talk about what that exactly means in a second, and I'm pretty sure you agree with me because my metrics are kind of insane, at least for myself. Yeah, I am plus in weight, which feels weird. Like it is still not a specific goal of mine to lose weight, right? It's just fluctuation likely. Also, my legs have been I can't. My legs have been in constant sore state for so long that I think I'm doing well there. Like I think I'm exercising more. I think I'm eating generally well. Just fluctuation. Yeah. So the thing I added this week was actually two things. Because I stopped reading, like I gave up on it, so I added two things this week. The first thing I added was taking a walk every time instead of just on the days off, which I've done. I did that consistently. The second thing I did add was whenever my partner isn't home, which has happened more regularly recently. Normally, my partner cooks because they are vegan, and I didn't care for learning how to cook vegan. I can barely cook vegetarian or like non-vegetarian. Um, so I wasn't interested. I was like, I don't want to figure out how to make the legumes look like today, and it's just like my partner has the same issue as I would have had at times. So yeah, I'm just happy that I don't have to do that. I have no issues with cooking from time to time, but yeah, vegan cooking is not my forte. So that also gives me the chance to cook something non-vegan whenever they are not home. And I immediately wasn't able to do that on Tuesday. So now, but Ryan, you said you didn't fail in your metrics. Well, on Tuesday, if you're following me in my Discord, I don't know how to get to my Discord from this because I sure as heck won't edit the description. Uh, but I put some updates in there. I didn't stream like uh Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Actually, maybe one of those. I thought it was 3 days in a row. I could look that up. Discord is on my right, but no, uncut and just my opinion on how my week went. I think it if you saw there, a friend of mine was really not doing well, and I came home and I talked to them and I was like, hey, how are you? And they said I'm really not well, and I offered to come by and cook for them and stuff like that. And actually, I'm mixing stuff up. Wait, no, I'm lying. Dude, I just remembered. I failed immediately on Tuesday. Okay, that's why I mixed the timelines up. I failed immediately on Tuesday because the milk was overdue, like it was past expiration date, and I had yogurt that was past expiration date. So it was like I have two choices. Either I let that rot, and if I let that rot, then well, that's not great. I'd rather eat badly for a day and not let that stuff rot than eat fulfill my goals. So I didn't really count that as failure. But I talked to my partner that it's still weird that I basically failed on the first day where where it's going well, and they said, well, why don't you cook the next day? So now on Wednesday, my friend was unwell, and I was like despite my partner being home, I cook an extra meal for myself, which I think is fair. I think that's fair. Like the idea is that food was not provided for me, and I cooked for myself. And I cooked for my friend and myself. My friend didn't end up wanting to eat any of that, so I took the leftovers with me. That was my meal the day after. So I technically cooked for 2 days there for myself. There is like then on yeah, that was on Thursday. I hung out with Ralph. That was really fun. I'm discovering hobbies that I irregularly do that just fit in the mental space and the the cat is so cute. The mental space and the amount of effort I want to put in at those times. I think that works out pretty well. And then we have like Friday where I said I was hiking. It ended up raining. We did not go hike. I just had a chill evening with some Celeste. And walkie. Um, as you might know, I don't set myself like a metric on how much I should do a thing, except for like the squats that I'm still doing, by the way. We can talk about that in a second. But yeah, I ended up doing pretty big walks, like 40 minutes to an hour, even a lot of the time, and I've been enjoying the larger ones more. And I've usually done them in the evening after stream. If you've been in stream, you know that. Because I usually send off with I'll go walk. Generally really fun. Happy about it. Helps me go to sleep sooner. Feels generally healthy. But the past few days was City Festival, like, or it still do be doing that right now. And yesterday we went there. Like half the town is locked down for cars and motorized vehicles, so you have to walk a lot. So I went. I walked a lot, and I even chose to walk all the way home in the boiling heat for like an hour, um, instead of taking the bus for the last like 30 minutes of walk. So I arrived home, and it didn't feel like I did my walk, although it was a conscious decision after seeing the bus go right in front of me. It was a conscious decision to not wait there and to walk instead. So yesterday I still did my walk. It's weird, right? My brain did not accept that that was sufficient. Even though it was by far the hardest of the walks I did because it was in the boiling heat. It should have counted, but my brain said no. Really weird. Uh, and yeah, about the squats, I've generally moved them for a while that I did the 20 in one go now. Sometimes, like a lot of time, even outside of brushing my teeth, which I'm unhappy with actually. But, like, I'm still fulfilling the stuff, but 20 squats in one go is very different to 2 times 10 squats. Dislike it. I've been trying to move it back. Like, that's not a failure. It's just how I'm allocating the stuff. But it definitely is part of why my legs are constantly sore currently. But yeah, I think I'm working out my legs pretty well, which is important because I just don't do that enough usually because I sit all day. I think that is extremely healthy what I'm doing. And I'll continue to gladly prioritize friends' health over my own goals because I think that's important to me. Yeah, that's the general idea right now. So yeah, it's been an extremely weird week, right? I failed on Tuesday immediately, but I had my reasons to specifically do that. I decided against it, and not out of laziness, because of something else. I, in my opinion, compensated for it, which is the point. And I still, like, for example, the day before, no, actually yesterday, my partner just didn't want to cook in the evening, so they because I now have the ability to cook for myself, they just said, fend for yourself, which is good. If I didn't know that my partner felt obligated to cook. I don't think they knew either. But it is a thing. Like if you have the option, then you just. I'm happy that it has positive effects on my partner as well. Um, like I said, I cooked before, just some very select meals from time to time, because like I have no issue if my partner asks me to cook, or they don't feel like they can cook, or I offer to cook because they seem really done. It it wasn't like a dynamic where I forced them to do their one little chore. No, it's just it just didn't like it worked out that way in general, because I don't like cooking in general either. But yeah, I'm happy that I could do that, and they felt easy about just saying no, fend for yourself. I have no interest in cooking today, because I wouldn't cook for myself today. I'm happy about that. Um, so yeah, I feel like I've been talking extremely convoluted, because my brain is extremely convoluted on this stuff, and I talked about in the beginning real quick how I want to be held accountable, or I want to hold myself accountable for something. And the thing I want to talk about is that 100% isn't enough for me, right? That's what you should take away with that. I did the thing that I set out to do. I put consequences out of it. I didn't go hiking because of the weather. I did two walks yesterday because the first one didn't feel like it was enough for me. It um it's really weird. Like I recently, like on Wednesday, I had like a talk with my employer, and like what we call employee meeting, I guess, is the translation, where you talk with your boss about how it's been going for the past however long it's been. Usually happens once a year. And it was my 2 years for being at the company, like 1.5 weeks ago, but that was during public holidays and stuff like that. So we talked, and I got pretty good pay raise, because they see the effort I put in, that I talked about in a previous iteration of the diary, and how they're happy how I push the company, like I talked about, and how I push myself. And uh, the absurd part, and my boss was like, "Yeah, you do like a ton of projects, and you shouldn't do more, basically." Because it should be fairly distributed, and especially he doesn't want me to fall into the trap of, just because I'm good I need to do more work, or just because I'm efficient I need to do more work, which is fair, but that's not how the economy works or how laws work. If I'm done early, I write negative hours, right? Either that, or I just sit around and do nothing, which is something that I cannot do. It gives me huge amounts of anxiety. Like even if it's like, for example, something that has happened in a previous job, I work like more than the by law allowed hours. And the way that that sometimes just tends to work out is that you just write it for free on the next day or something like that. uh, Sitting around for like that half an hour is extremely stressful for me. Like even though it's like, that's what I mean, giving more than 100%. It also translates to work. And I took on a major project last week, and another mid-sized project that can be bigger if you put the time into it, and that's what I want to do. Because in fact, I wrote minus hours last week. Um, which is poggies for my free time. But in the long run, it just feels like a weird prospect. That means, like, as you know, everything will happen at once. My long weeks will be insane, but my short weeks will be less frequent. And also, something that is important to me, or for me to tell you, is I'm extremely efficient with my hours. I do not have a lot of plus hours. That was a huge thing in the talk we had. I do not need to work overtime to get all of the stuff done that other people tend to work overtime for. I'm extremely efficient. Super happy about that. And it was recognized. It was appreciated. I was asked where the plus hours came from then, and I was like, yeah, it was the go live of one of my largest projects. And they're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I worked through my holiday there. Oh, okay, yeah, that explains the exactly 16 hours, right? So basically, I'm at zero except for like that one Thursday Friday that I supported even though I was on holiday. Um, and yeah, that's the thing. And I still took on more. It's just how I work, right? Because I see things that are wrong or going wrong, and I want to put the effort in to make it go correctly. We'll see. I'll keep you updated on that, and if it feels unhealthy, worst case, I'll hand off one of the projects again, and it's running as badly as it badly. It's still running normally, but it's running a slight bit less efficiently than I'd like to. um, so yeah, generally, what I'm trying to say is it's an extreme thing for me where if I can't give 100% or more than 100%, I'm not happy. That is in big parts why I stopped streaming for a year, because I can't just stream 1 hour for like 3 days a week, right? I can't play Celeste for that short amount of time. How am I supposed to do? And that is something that I just have to get over with. What is worth doing badly as well. Not just what is worth doing is worth doing well. It's also, you're allowed to do it badly. It's better than not doing it at all. That also counts as schoolwork. Just try something that you think you don't have the time to hand in. It's fine to just start it. I know things can just sometimes be overwhelming, but do it for yourself. That's why you're there, for yourself. Hopefully. Sometimes we all don't all have the choice, but you know what I mean, right? You're there to learn. That's your purpose. Yeah, generally speaking, that's the thing, right? So yeah, I need to be mindful of that going forward. And I don't know if I want to change that. That's the other thing, right? I think it's a quality and makes me who I am and makes what I have achieved, right? It is the exact thing that makes me good at speedrunning. It is the exact thing of how I practice the way I practice. I think if you interact with me, for example, if you look at today's main chat, it's perfectly it's a perfect example of that. Yeah, it has been accepted that water boost there is slow, yeah, but that's unoptimal. I don't enjoy that. If it feels slow, I'm unhappy with it, right? That's generally the gist of it. And yeah, I have to try to work on that because the goal is to not demotivate myself. And the thing that has to be clear is not streaming for a year nearly completely, even though I had some opportunity to do it because of anxiety and how I work, was a net negative. That is true. So that prohibits me sometimes from doing it. It is good to push myself, but I have to control it in a way where I don't get negatives from it, right? That has to be the goal. And I think that is a good thing to put out there. The next thing, what am I going to do in the future? Right. Next week, we've talked a lot about I don't know what to do, dude. That has changed. I have a lot of stuff to do in the next few weeks. There is a lot of suggestions from my partner, mainly, hey, you're doing a lot of leg stuff, but you don't have any stretching in there of your legs. That sounds like it sucks. It doesn't sound particularly healthy. So that's an option. The other thing is I go for a walk that lasts longer than an hour, usually at 9 now, right? I don't go to bed early enough. I usually even watch a video afterwards still. I go to bed earlier than I did before I added the walk, but it's still not healthy. So just adding that I should go to bed early enough is very valuable. I think the earlier I do that, the more valuable that is. Also, just for a recap thing, I technically didn't play Celeste every day, which is a thing that is on my list, but it doesn't feel like a failure to me. But it is uh, worth noting down because I feel like I had more important obligations. I don't feel like I did that because of anxiety, or because I feel like I can't give 100%, which is the reason why I added that onto the list, right? I'm happy with that still. Yeah, and then about the future stuff, I don't know what to add next week, but there's a lot, right? There's shoulder stretching, there's leg stretching, there's trying to actually work out my arms and my wrists a bit. There is there's just going to bed early. We'll see what I'll add. I'll tell you in retrospect as always. I just wanted to share that this time I'm not starved for choices. There's also my partner usually does the walks with me, and they push me to, because it's a walk. I now have an entire hour usually a day where I can do light arm exercises, because why not? So they just force me to do some stretches. That's healthy, but it's not in there in the usual goal, and it's not always the same thing, which is the goal of what we do here with every week we add a thing. So yeah, just a general recap. I'm not starved for options for the future. I got a pretty solid pay raise that I'm super happy about. I feel appreciated at work. I'm still taking on more work at work, in parts against the wishes of my boss, because he thinks that I'm already doing too much. I think, like, I'm really happy of where I stand at work. That's what I'm trying to say with that. I think I compensated for my failures of last week during the last week already. I think I'm keeping up with everything that I set out for myself. I think I'm living like last week is an extreme improvement in healthiness. The amount of walking I do, taking care of friends, taking care of myself. I think it's been really healthy. It's been nice pushing myself. Yeah, I think it's been a complete success, and that it's been the best week, very likely. If not for the challenge I've set for myself, definitely for my personal health and for my relationships, and just generally of what positive things happened. It just doesn't feel like that for me. And that is something that I have to work on generally. That's the hard part for myself. That's extremely hard. It has been by far the best week. I'm plus 0.6 on the scale, which doesn't matter. That's approximately 1 pound for the freedom loving people in my audience. It's nothing. It's fluctuation, especially considering I'm most likely building muscle consistently to some extent, so that maybe like 0.2 of that is actual muscle. I think I've been extremely healthy by all metrics. I succeeded last week more than I have ever succeeded since I've been recording this, and I'm unhappy with it. That's the main takeaway. I'm unhappy with how I did last week, and I can't pinpoint why. I feel like I did all the walks. I'm extremely happy at how I did at work. I got in my free time. I'm doing all the healthy stuff, but I'm unhappy with my performance of last week. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I wish you all the best. I don't know what to add to that. It is something that I might have to go to my former therapist. Might contact them again, because that is something I maybe should work through with a therapist. I'll talk to them on the phone and ask whether that is something that is worth coming into for therapy, or whether that makes sense. I'll just try. Maybe I'll write an email right after this. I think that makes sense. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to me. If you want to get these updates continued, feel free to subscribe. If you want to see my speedrun continuation, also subscribe. I should be extremely happy of where I am currently, and I'm not happy with it. I'm not happier. And that's my issue with healthy stuff. It doesn't make me more happy. It just takes away free time from me. Weird feeling. I'm still working towards it. I will not stop, but it's hard. It feels weird. And like as I said, I'm unhappy with my health this performance because I 100% is the very minimum. And I only did like 120%. We'll see each other again soon. I'll keep you updated on that specifically. I'll talk with you about it again. But yeah, for the general purpose of what these videos are about, it's a complete success. Right? And that has to be my main takeaway, even though my brain doesn't work like that. Wish you guys the best.